The president had not just lost an election, he tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power as a violent mob breached the Capitol. Former president who lies about this election and the mob that attacked this Capitol could not be further away from the core American values.
After he spoke, the president took questions from the press where he was asked about the divisive tone of his speech.
Does calling him out divide more than it heals?
Look, the way you have to heal, you have to recognize the extent of the wound. You can't pretend. You gotta face it. That's what great nations do. They face the truth, deal with it, and move on.
And the vice president comparing what happened 1 year ago to some of the worst tragedies in American history.
Certain dates echo throughout history, including dates that instantly remind all who have lived through them where they were and what they were doing when our democracy came under assault. Dates that occupy not only a place on our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 1941, September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021.
Jesse Waters, let me give you first crack at some reaction today on the fact.
Well, that was amateur hour with Kamala. It's what a goofball. But January 6th sucked, Dana. It sucked. Everybody knows it sucks. We watched it. I hated seeing what I saw. It hurt the brand, and it gave the left an excuse to crack down on innocent Trump supporters. But here is an objective analysis on what had culminated. The populist wing erupted that day. The Trump wing, the populist wing of the Republican Party, had felt disrespected for many, many years. They had propelled Trump to victory in 2016. And immediately, every powerful interest in this country launched a scorched earth campaign against that guy. They went to war with him. Illegal leaking of his tax returns, racial hoaxes, rape hoaxes, illegal targeting, spying, fabricating evidence, planning evidence, vicious stuff. They tried everything. Then COVID hit, and they sued to change the election laws and then blasted out millions of ballots like no one's ever seen. Then all of a sudden Zuckerberg drops $500 million with a B to pay for these private election activists to layer on top of the state election officials, unprecedented. Then big tech spikes the laptop from hell, the Republicans' October surprise. And then it takes nearly a week to count the votes after the election. So Republicans genuinely felt cheated. They felt robbed. They couldn't prove it in court, but they felt after 4 years of those shenanigans that something was off. It was a culmination of a lot of just nasty skullduggery. Here are the facts, though, Dana. Reuters reports FBI has found no evidence that the January 6th attack was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election. No evidence that Trump or his team were involved in organizing the violence. No seditious conspiracy, no grand scheme. And a vast majority of the people charged were charged with trespassing, which, by the way, isn't even a crime in Manhattan anymore. New York Times reported there was an FBI informant, at least one, inside the mob. And mysteriously, we still don't have an answer as to why the Capitol was left so unprotected that day. The feds are fighting us in court, withholding the video evidence of that day. Now, Professor Waters, history major, would like to share a few things with you guys, because the Democrats are acting like, oh, they've never had a soft spot for political violence. In 1954, Puerto Rican nationals, they shot up the House chamber. They injured 5 members of Congress. Jimmy Carter commuted their sentence. In 1983, American communists bombed the Senate. They were targeting Republicans, blew up the Senate wing on the 2nd floor. Who commuted their sentence? Oh, wait, that was President Bill Clinton. William Harris, Weather Underground. On the Pentagon, his team. Barack Obama, best buds. And if I mean, it hasn't been that long, but I think we all remember that it was the Harris-Biden ticket that bailed out the rioters who set the whole country on fire, causing 30 deaths. So just want to make sure everybody knows that little history before they start pointing fingers.
There was this other piece.
Amen.
I want to play for you some sound, Greg, that the president's team released an early excerpt